everybody. This is Sippin and Trippin with ALA and
Tinny Tin Tin.
This is a podcast about our past time in Japan where we both taught English and a way for us to unpack our experiences there while also talking about things that impact us on a daily basis.
Kind of a lot.
Kind of a lot, yeah. But let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it, do it, do it.
All right. Hey, this is ALA in the editor's chair. I'm just adding a little bit to preface this episode. What you'll hear in today's episode is actually some residual in-between conversations from the podcast about my name. So I just wanted to say that before we went into this because we kind of broke off into several tangents that tied into linguistics and language learning. I think it stands just fine on its own. So I hope you guys enjoy this cut together of some in-between conversations that are all applicable to language learning and just enjoying learning languages in general. So please enjoy. When I started as a teacher, I would when we did those introductions and goodbyes, I would have something written out and I would read it. But as every year went by, I got more and more creative about how I would say hello and goodbye and mix in English however which way I wanted to. And a lot of the teachers that I worked with, they were like, when you do that, your Japanese is simple enough that we can understand the English that you're giving us. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, I did not know this word, but because you used it this way, I was like, oh, that must mean this. Cool. I'm like, oh, awesome. I'm glad you guys feel that way. I'm glad that you are comfortable with my Japanglish. Thank you. I appreciate this praise.
Yeah. No, what threw me off is I don't know if it happened to you when they're like, okay, it's time for jiko shokai. And I'm like, okay, wait. I don't know that word. So then they're like, introduction. I'm like, so nani okay, okay, I get it now. I'm good. Yeah, but I was like, what is jiko shokai?
I think it took me 2 or 3 years to realize how to say introduction.
Yeah. Or they said aisatsu for greeting.
Aisatsu was the one I heard a lot more of.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe it was a Nagoya Ben thing. Maybe they lean towards one phrase more so than the other.
No idea. All I knew is when they said, oh, it's time to introduce yourself. I was like, oh, okay, hajimemashite, blah, 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 blah.
Also,
oh, well, that's what I was taught. I did Japanese in college, but I didn't get to use it after college, so I was lucky I still remembered. What? And then when I was moving to Nagoya, I did a crash course to throw in as much Japanese into my brain as possible. Because in college, I could speak more, I could understand more. I understood more than I could say sometimes.
Right, that's how I felt too.
Unfortunately, I still have that problem. When you hit that intermediate plateau.
Yes.
And I was high intermediate at that, which made it worse because I just felt like I didn't know anything.
I just felt like being in Japan is what helped me.
Yes.
Gain what I got, because I feel like the classes were nice and the regurgitating of information and kanji on paper was nice, but I still don't always feel like I learned a whole lot in those classes. It was just too structured. It was too by the book, to be a little bit ironic.
Oh, actually, that helped me a lot.
Really?
Yeah, so I think you and I learned differently because let me just go on a short little. So in college, because I was doing linguistics, you had to study different languages in addition to language as a whole, because linguistics is really about this is how humans communicate, and this is how humans communicate with each other, with the natural world, such as animals and things like that. And so Japanese is very structured to today we're covering, let's say prepositions. Close to, nearby, next to, in front of, things like that. And then she would expand on it to where I could say, instead of just my textbook is next to my pencil. I could say the mall is next to the swimming pool. My house is next to, you know,
Hmm.
I don't know. My house is next to the mall, which, now we're throwing in an adverb, is next to this thing. Like she would take us from the basic idea and
Hmm.
expand on it to where we can make these detailed sentences. Then she made us talk like a lot. And then she made us
Hmm.
do a lot of listening as well.
Hmm.
Compared to like my Spanish classes where we did talk but not as much. We mainly did reading and writing. So even
Right.
now, I can read and write in Spanish better
Hmm.
than I
Hmm.
can say things. So,
And that's the thing I want to definitely touch on too about Japanese and Spanish because my language learning started with Spanish.
mm,
Spanish.
mm,
Spanish.
you're gonna
It's
get it. It's gonna
like,
happen.
like I said, spinach. Popeye, Sailor Man. But
What?
because I said spinach. That's too
Oh,
funny.
that's why.
Anyway, so because and maybe I can say the same for you as well, but because we have roots in Spanish with our language learning, it did make Japanese speaking and learning easier because phonetically, Spanish and Japanese are actually very similar. At least I felt like they
They're
were.
similar at times, yeah. It changes
So,
depending on diphthongs and things like that.
right, right. And I know that like it's like for me, like when I started, like if I was really like honest about my Japanese journey, like
Hmm.
getting romanji printouts of anime songs was where I started. Like, so when I could break them down into those like little phonetic ta, wa, ka, like when I could see them like that and I could read them, that was actually my first step into Japanese after all my Spanish learning. So, like, for me, it helped me, I think, Spanish helped me learn Japanese. Not so much about grammar, but the
Mm,
pronunciation and stuff. It definitely helped me.
yeah.
Maybe Spanish is more expressive than Japanese because Japanese, I won't say
You
Japanese is
think so?
monotone.
Hmm.
I,
You
I
think
think
so?
so. I think Spanish has a lot more like I would say punch in how they speak. Because you know how like say for instance Chinese Mandarin is very tonal. So it's like Japanese is not a tonal language, I don't think.
Not really, no, no. Especially not
Okay.
compared to Chinese.
So yeah, I feel like in Spanish like there's kind of more of a like an ebb and flow and punch to some syllables, whereas in Japanese, like you shouldn't ever stress a syllable more so unless it's dictated to you. Like you need to keep it pretty, you gotta keep it pretty focused on how it's just said, rather than being like itsudemo or itsudemo, you itsudemo. Like you need to just keep it flat.
I feel
Don't
like
stress anything.
Japanese is musical and wavy, but it depends on the person. Because there are some people who are like for example, I'm just gonna say, my name is Tinny Tin Tin. It's nice to meet you. That right? So some people will
Mhm.
say, はじめまして。私は Tinny Tin Tin です。よろしくお
Mhm.
願いします. Like it's just very flat, and I'm like, oh, because it's like that in English. And some people are, はじめまして。私は Tinny Tin Tin です。よろしくお願いします. Like that kind of thing when they're being cute. And
Right.
some people like that are more, oh my god, I just did my Japanese mother.
Wait, are you ready?
Sometimes she talks that way. That's why she's adorable. I love her. Um, but like some people are very da 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 da, like very sing songy in
Are you are
Japanese.
you are you ready for a throwback?
Are you ready for it? What?
いらっしゃいませ
No, the best. Hold on. I gotta get my diaphragm ready. いらっしゃいませ. Like
I
they
just
just
remember the
belt
Combini
that out.
like いらっしゃいませいらっしゃいませ I'm like, whoa. Oh wait, unless it was construction workers. Like being like,
Construction
oh,
workers.
how gozaimasu. Like when they greet you, I love like construction workers in Japan.
What?
If
I don't think I've
there
ever
was
seen them
there was a there
in.
was there was a time
No, we
during
did. I was at your apartment and they were working on the building.
yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
not it wasn't those construction. It was actually an apartment that Valencia was in before she moved out of that one and we joined house.
Oh,
But
okay.
that one got remodeled, and those construction workers were some of the friendliest guys. Like, they didn't actually like talk to you, but they'd be like, "Ohayo gozaimasu," and they'd be like really energetic. They'd be like jumping up
Really?
and like trying to show off their strength. And I'm kind of like, if men in America and construction workers particularly were like this, women wouldn't mind like getting a little like action there. But they were really polite. Like, I'm
That's
like, this is
funny.
amazing. This is amazing. Like, y'all need to go to America and teach them some
Uh,
stuff. Like, get on over
uh,
there and let them know.
I didn't know that.
Oh, they were so adorable. Sorry, I did not mean to throw back Irashaimase and Ohayo gozaimasu all
It's
together in the
okay.
same. Sorry.
Man, I had to work up that irashaimase, let me tell you.
Hello again, ALA popping in the editor's chair. I just wanted to let you guys know what those two phrases meant, just in case you didn't know. Irashaimase is a kind of greeting that happens whenever you walk into a business or establishment, like convenience store or just any sort of store in general. The greeters would say irashaimase. And then Ohayo gozaimasu, which is more commonly known, is just good morning. So the casual version of that is Ohayo. So just in case you guys wanted to know that or practice that for yourself, there you go.
Let's jump back on topic, like the real topic, but
Yes.
I can count on one hand how many times I heard irashaimase in Japan. One hand. Just one.
What?
Yes.
How? But they say
Yes.
it when you go into convenience stores. What are you talking about?
No, they just said konnichiwa, konbanwa, ohayo gozaimasu. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, that kind of thing. It wasn't ever irashaimase.
Wait, but how? We lived in the same city.
Look, this was my experience, okay? And what I experienced was that they used daily greetings instead of, irashaimase to welcome you into the store.
Girl, okay. Well, I must have been getting a whole
Or
other fancy
sometimes,
you weren't getting.
sometimes I got like my American friend. That was,
What?
yeah, let me tell you, I met really casual Japanese people, and everyone's like, Japanese people are so formal. I'm like, they are. Okay. So,
What?
I
Okay,
don't
well,
know what to tell you.
when you worked within, the office that you were at for web
Uh-huh.
lessons,
Uh-huh.
when you left, did you have to say anything to the staff?
Yeah, so you had to do your final thing, which I don't remember the name for that, to be honest. And it's just, thank you all so much. I enjoyed my time with you. Like, I just spoke from the heart, I didn't make a speech. I was just very
Oh,
grateful. And my friend cried. I felt so bad.
oh, my
And I'm
my
like,
bad.
don't,
Hold
I
on.
had to look away from her. I'm like, don't cry, because if you cry, I'm gonna cry. And so, uh, yeah, just, I enjoyed all my time here. I had a lot of memories, and I'm sad to go, but I hope I see you all and stay in touch with you and stuff like that.
On a day-to-day basis, was there something you had to say to them like when you left? Did you guys have to do this?
No, I didn't know that
No?
was a thing.
So, if you work with a Japanese
Wait,
staff,
or do
usually,
you mean saying "otsukare-sama deshita"?
there's another phrase that well, we were taught that we had to say if we left before other workers.
Oh, that's what. Sorry, I thought you were talking about like leaving Japan. My bad. Um, for leaving the office every day, just "otsukare-sama deshita." That's it.
Lucky. So,
Yeah. Oh, there's an. Oh, wait. Okay, okay. It's coming. It's all coming back to me now. Yes. I don't remember that phrase, but if you're leaving early, it was that one for specifically leaving early, as
but it's
opposed
like,
to "otsukare-sama deshita."
so I think this is important, and we definitely need to have this kind of podcast too. But there are specific phrases that we don't have in English that I wish we
Yup.
did.
Yup.
But this is one of those phrases where it's just like, dang, like y'all really thought of everything. So like, so just earlier we were saying the phrase "otsukare-sama desu," which means thank you for your hard work or thank you for working tirelessly on my behalf. Like that's what it
Yeah.
actually translates to. And we don't like have a phrase like that in English. We just say bye.
I just say thank you for your hard work, but I only started doing that because of "otsukare-sama deshita."
For me, since coming back, when I did work in an actual location where I had like other people, I'd be like, well, I'll see you tomorrow, or I'll see you next week. Like I didn't say, hey, thank you for all you're doing. Like I don't know what the librarian's doing, but I think she had a good day, so I hope I see you tomorrow. So like it didn't carry with me at least. But
Oh,
Besides that,
so for example, I worked in an office as an assistant, so I would say thank you all for helping me today, and I'll see you tomorrow. That kind of thing. For my students, I will tell them thank you for your hard work today.
oh,
Yeah. And I only
oh no,
started
I
doing
think
that because in Japan, I would tell my students, "Otsukare-sama," and they're like, "The teacher said otsukare-sama to me," and like it would make them happy. So,
okay. I think well
yeah,
for students, yeah, I always told them, hey, thanks for doing your best today. Like let's do more next time. But like,
yeah.
sorry, besides otsukare-sama desu, there was another phrase that AETs were told to say, and
Hmm.
it is a phrase that you use it when you leave early, but it's not about you leaving early. It's about you leaving and quitting your work before your coworkers do. That's really what this phrase is for, and it's pronounced "osaki ni shitsurei shimasu," which
Yeah, yeah,
means
yeah, yeah, yeah,
literally,
yeah, yeah.
forgive me for leaving
Leaving
before you.
early. Yes.
But it's like leaving before you. Like it's like I'm sorry that I'm not as committed to this as you, but I have to go. That's what it's supposed to be. But like you're supposed to say that as polite, like a polite kind of duty to the people who still have more work to do, but you're done, kind of thing.
I
So
never ever said that, because that phrase was actually hard for me.
it was
So
hard
I
for a
could
lot
never
of
remember it.
people. It was hard for a lot of people. Like I remember my first guy coworker that I worked with, my mentor at my first year, the one I told you like got to hold my hand through it. Like he
Mhm.
like stumbled over it. Like he had been saying it like a whole
Really?
year before me,
Uh-huh.
still couldn't say it. And I'm just like, "Osaki ni shitsurei shimasu," and the people are like, "Eh, Scott." I'm
Wait,
like,
say it again slower.
"Osaki ni
Osaki ni
shitsurei
shitsure
shimasu."
shimasu.
Osaki
Osaki
ni
ni
shitsurei
shitsure.
shimasu.
Hold on, because I feel like I'm saying bad words. Osaki ni shitsure shimasu.
So like
Okay.
for me, like there's a phrase that you when you knock, shitsurei shimasu, which means
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah,
sorry
yeah.
for
I could say
interrupting
that
you.
one. Yes.
Yeah.
But the
So
second you
then,
throw in Osaki ni, like it's out. It's gone.
not kantan yo, kantan.
簡単じゃないよ。
Kantan じゃない。そうじゃない。そう。Never mind.
Mhm,
Sorry,
mhm,
guys. We're
mhm.
not trying to flex. We're just over here flexing.
We're not flexing. We're just trying to remember what Japanese is left in our brains.
Yeah, it's just but there's so like again, we need to have a whole entire podcast where we just bring up phrases like shogunai. I think we
Yeah.
talked about mendokusai in the past, but it's just like there are some phrases where it's just like, why don't we have that? Why
Wait,
don't we have that?
Shitsumon got it. What if we have like a word of the day?
Oh,
So that way, like, we're not really teaching people Japanese, but it's like, hey, today's word of the day is, osaki ni shitsure shimasu. I'm gonna get it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
don't worry. And one day when you get it right, I'll be like, kapeki.
ありがとうございます.
Wakaru kana? I wonder if they understand. Kapeki. probably
Kampeki is
don't.
like, it's perfect. It's correct.
So. Kapeki. And then you also guys probably hear us be like, so. That means like you're agreeing with what someone's saying. Like, oh, yeah.
My problem is I never could stop saying so.
I have gotten better with it, but I do nod a lot when I talk, and it has
Yes.
confused English speakers. They're like, "Why do you nod when I'm talking to you?" I said, "I'm sorry. That's me like listening to what you're saying and making sure I understand it."
Oh no, now I can't stop going, when I listen to people, and then which is literally so.
私も
Yeah, and then
本当
also
にわかるよ。
ne, and then ne. I say ne all the time,
ne.
and then it's so funny because like one day when we were in Japan, I was messing with our friend Beth because she was looking for something, and she's like, "Are? Are?" Like meaning, like what? Like what's happening? Because she was looking for something, and then when she found it, she's like, "Butta." Like I found it, and so I was teasing her. I was like, Beth, you don't have to use Japanese right now. She's like, I don't even know I'm doing it anymore. And I was like, I hope that never happens to me. And it did. Shouldn't have said anything.
But I think that's just part of, at least for me, having been there so long.
Yeah.
Like I just picked up on some of those mannerisms because that's what people do when you use language and culture to survive, you naturally pick up mannerisms that help you do that. So it's a human response to survival. And I'm not saying we were in danger, but I am saying that to make sure we seemed as like approachable as possible, at least in my case, it was like when I mimicked people's mannerisms, they felt more at ease. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, wait. So I have one more question then.
Yeah.
She's the one got it
Hi.
again.
Hi, Dozo.
So,覚えない. We've got to stop switching languages. It's making my brain confused. Okay, I got it. So when you
Okay.
left the office, did you, or even your school, like let's say you ran out for lunch or something really fast, or to the convenience store, did you ever say "itekimasu," "okaeri"? Because
Sometimes,
that was
yeah.
kind of the office culture for us.
Sometimes it depended on my rapport with the principal or the vice principal. But I usually didn't step out midday that often, but it was kind of cute when I could be like, I'm gonna go get lunch at the konbini. They're like, oh, okay. Iterashai? I'm like,
Yeah,
itekimasu. They're like, oh,
yeah.
you know. I'm like, yeah, I do know.
Hello, ALA again in the editor's chair. Just wanted to let you guys know these phrases that we're just throwing around. In Japanese culture, there are certain phrases that people say when a person is leaving a location or their home. Um, if the person is staying behind and watching someone go, they say "iterashai," which means "please come back." And the person leaving will say "itekimasu," which means "I'm going now." When the person comes back, they ought to say "tadaima," which means "I'm back," and the person would welcome them back saying "okairi," or "okairi nasai," which is the more formal version, which just means welcome back. So those are just, again, some useful phrases that Japanese has that we didn't quite go into their meaning here, but I just wanted to make sure you guys understood.
I live here.
It took me forever to learn the formal. The formal is "itte orimasu."
Oh, I
And it took
never
me
learned
forever to
that.
learn that. I did not use it because it took forever to learn it. So
Also, honorific. Like Keigo, I didn't really mess with Keigo like that.
I can't even do it. The only keigo I could say is um omate. I can't even say it now. Dang it. When you're waiting and they're like, "Thank you so much for waiting." And you hear it everywhere at the convenience store, at the bank, at the mall.
Kyakusama. Kyakusama.
Omate. It's gonna come back eventually. Mate is the word for wait, but
So.
there's a very polite one, and that's the only one I can say in Kegel, in the polite formal language.
I actually used a little bit of Keigo in my introduction when I said Anastasia Tomoshimasu. Like that's
Oh, you
Keigo.
said tomoshimasu, that's why. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Not
like
me.
there was just some pieces where I would use it to like portray that I knew what it was, but I never would use it consistently or fluently because I never wanted people to get it twisted. I'm like, look, I know pieces, but don't act like I know everything. But also, please
Yeah.
feel free to ask me things and teach me things. Like,
Yes.
so yeah, it's
I
just
just
you gotta be
remember,
open.
so when you introduced yourself, did you bow?
Yeah, you have to. How did you do it?
Did you do the regular everyday bow or did you do the deep bow?
You gotta when you introduce yourself, you gotta bow a little deeper. Like you kind of have
Okay.
to.
Because I did the deep
You
bow
kind of
as
have
well. And
to.
they're like, oh, you know. And I'm like, yeah, my Japanese teacher made sure we knew.
Oh, but the
Even if we
people
failed at
listening don't
Japanese.
know. We have to at some point talk about bow culture because that matters. Bow culture matters.
Did you ever get in a bowing war? Because I only had it happen exactly one time. And I've heard other foreigners say, like, I get stuck in bowing wars. And then I've heard other foreigners say that never happened to me.
That never happened to me.
Okay.
Never happened to me at
I
all.
wouldn't call mine a war because like it wasn't extended or anything. It was just like I bowed and then she bowed and then I bowed again and then she bowed again. So then I felt like I had to bow again because it was someone older than me. So I didn't know I could walk away.
Nah, I stopped that real quick.
Well, I did.
Forget that part.
After like the maybe third or fourth time, I'm like, I gotta go. So then I was just like, "Itakimasu." Don't know if that was the appropriate thing to say, but you know.
See,
She's
for
like,
me, like
"Okay, kyosuke
I
kudasai."
I mastered the way of bowing. Like
Mhm.
I don't think, I mean, I've never heard a bow war before, so it's interesting that you brought that up. But like I had adapted this kind of like bow but keep moving towards the door. Like that was
Yeah, me too, me too. Just in case. I'm like, just so
yeah,
you
I
know,
was
I'm
like, look,
leaving.
look, look, no, no, I want to go home. Is hungry. Like I was
Mm, you know what I
goodness.
noticed though? Because
What?
like every now and again I have a habit of just like swearing, but which I'm trying to work on. Because
Yeah.
I never used to swear. And like everyone would tell you, Tinny doesn't swear. Like, what are you talking about? And now I'm just like, F bomb, S bomb. But there are certain words I don't say because I don't like them.
Right.
And if I'm speaking Japanese, all that goes out the window. I don't even remember curse words, like at all.
I don't either. I've been asked so many times where it's just like, what's a cuss word? And I'm kind of like, besides like, so, like
There
if
are
you like
rude
look at something
there are rude
or
ways to
like,
talk to people. I know those.
yeah,
I don't do
yeah.
them.
But it's like even then, like Kaso is more of an anime cuss word, and then like Shimata is kind of like an explicative, like if you bump something, Shimata, but it's not really a cuss word.
It's
It's just
more
like,
like
ow.
darn.
Yeah. Like I
Yeah.
remember now the one that stuck with me, which is not really a cuss word, but more of like an expletive when you're in pain. Eat that! Like that's one that I kept saying for a
Damn it,
minute
I can't stop
after
saying
coming
ite.
back. Why that? Like why do I still say that? Like it's just like, ugh.
I'm like, itai, ite. Especially if it hurts. I don't know why I say it that way. But I've been told, like, you're a cartoon character. I'm like, yes, I am. I'm a living cartoon.
Mm-mm.
Because
Side
I
note,
think they say ite in the cartoons, that's why.
I definitely called my grandpa a cartoon character while he was living, so it's
Yeah. My grandpa was so good at who are the people who did the Flintstones? I can't.
Hanna Barbera.
Yeah, Hanna-Barbera. He was so good at like doing the voices for those, especially like Tomcat. When he was like,
Oh,
exit, stage right. Like I can't do it, but my grandpa was so good at it.
it's a true story, girl. So my grandpa used to mow people's lawns,
Hmm.
and every day he wore like this light blue shirt and like these like blue pants, like, and he had like the same outfit like in the closet. I think like he always wore it, and so I asked him one day. I said, "Peepaw, are you a cartoon character?"
Peepaw. That's
And he
cute.
was like, "What? What are you talking about, baby?" I said, "Are you a cartoon character?" And he's like, "Why are you asking me that?" I was like, "Because you wear the same clothes every day."
Dang, way to put your grandpa on blast.
I mean, everyone laughed. Like it wasn't a rude question, but I still find it funny because I
That's
feel
still
like
funny.
as an artist now, I whenever I have a character that I work with a lot, I try to vary their hairstyles and clothing from day to
Hmm.
day. So I'm like, I feel like it,
Hmm.
this isn't the age of '90s anymore where it is Rugrats or Doug, or Hey Arnold, where they have the same outfit to
Hey,
characterize them, you
Arnold.
know. So I'm just maybe I'm a '90s kid through and through,
Oh, I am a 90s kid. Why do you think I'm still
but
in
it's
love with
just
Spider-Man?
okay. All right. Well, we'll digress. We'll
And
digress.
X-Men and DuckTales and Gummy Bears
Oh,
and
girl. Wait,
Gargoyles.
did you ever see David the Gnome?
Yes! You know how many people don't know about David the Gnome?
Yeah,
But now
girl.
we're going back to like late 80s now.
Yes, I mean, well, again, my sister was born a little bit before me, so anything
Hmm.
she had access to, I had access to, and I was born in
Yeah,
'89, so it's
yeah.
just like
But
I
also
got
Eureka's
blessed.
Castle. I don't know if you saw that one. Yes, that was my
Oh
jam. Also
man.
Rainbow Bright, like you guys don't understand. Like I would wake up at 5:40 in the morning, which is like very early for a child. Get
Especially,
my
especially.
cereal ready, fix my pillows on the couch. We only had one TV because we're not rich. So, it was in the living room and I had to listen to it
You
on
know,
quiet because
you
everybody else
know.
was asleep. I wasn't trying to get spanked.
I think me and my sister did that more later with Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z for a very short
That
season,
came
like
on in
getting
the
up really
afternoon
early.
for me.
What?
Yeah,
I
Sailor
wasn't
Moon
gonna get
came on
that.
after school, so like I would be like, Dad, I need you to come quickly to pick me up from school because I have to see Sailor Moon at I think it was 3:30, 4 o'clock here. And like I
Huh.
knew all the words. I kept trying to like whenever wait, whenever she transformed, like I would pretend I could transform too.
I mean, I feel like almost every girl kind of did like a little mimic
It wasn't
of
the
Sailor Moon like
only
that.
girls, because like I remember boys on the playground would make fun of us, but then when they thought we weren't looking, they were trying to do it too. And the best way to do the transformation is to jump off of something. So, sorry, Mom, to all the times I said I didn't jump off the couch when I did.
Dang, I did. Okay, we did not get that deep. I think that I will concede that nephew of the Sailor Moondom. All right, I was not. I
I
did not
wanted
get
to, because, well, I wanted to know, like, if it was physically possible to do it. Because, you know, like, when she transforms, she spins out. And then she kind
yeah.
of floats there, and I knew the floating wasn't going to happen. But I just wanted to know if I could do the little spinny move. And then, you know, land like that. So, I
I
did
got you.
it
I got you. All
a
right,
couple times. Not every
I'm
time. Not every time. It took a lot
clap
of
for you. That's
practice.
clap for you. Anyway, just yeah, that just brought back a memory. Completely not related to Japan. I apologize.
No, I think that's adorable. I like that we have these conversations, even if it's not 100% on topic.
Yeah,
Especially
me
because you
too.
and I are very good at saying side note, and we're like 10 side notes down, and then we could still jump back to the main topic.
We tried to. We tried to.
It happens eventually.
Oh my gosh, just
And then
happy
we end up
memories.
like memeing ourselves through some of those side notes.
That is true. That is true. That's true.
One thing.
Hmm.
Just kind of to go back to the rude words for a second. I have
Yeah.
a bad habit of calling people baka. Um,
Eh?
and the way I learned it was that depending on your tone, baka is not a rude word. So, for example, you're talking to your friends and they do something goofy, you're like, baka janai. But, like,
Mhm.
you have a very light tone as opposed to, like, baka janai, you know, talking down to them. Um, And they're like, yeah, that's fine. And then when I'm in Japan, I didn't know. Okay, my Japanese, so Takeshi, I like to call him Japanese dad.
Mhm.
I don't think he likes it, but he's a great person. So anyways, Takeshi was saying how in Nagoya, you're supposed to say aho and not baka if you're joking
Eh?
around.
Are you
Yes.
kidding?
And
You
wait, no,
did
no,
you
no,
believe
no.
that?
Let me just tell you.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm having a whole reaction.
Let
Okay, sorry.
me, this is how I remember it, so he can totally correct me if he said it differently. But he said baka, at least in Nagoya, is a really rude way to. You're talking to your friends rudely, even if you're joking around. But aho's a bit
Mhm.
lighter, but it depends on your tone. So if you're like, ah ha ha ha, aho ne, like, then your friends will laugh with you. If you're like, baka ne, they're like, excuse me.
Nah, I stayed all the way away from Aho. I did not touch that
Because
word.
to me, I learned that aho is the rude one. That's what I was taught in school.
Yeah, that's what I was taught.
And
That's
he
why I didn't
said
touch it.
it depends on your prefecture. So in some prefectures, you can say aho, and in other prefectures, you can say baka. And it
I feel
depends on people's age as well.
See, for me, I just feel like because of anime culture, I knew to not use those kinds of words.
Mm, mm.
So I guess I didn't really run into any issues there.
Well, also, like, kids, remember, I don't know if your kids did it, but mine would call each other, like, urusai, urusei,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
they did. Because
To
they're
call each
kids.
other, like, you're annoying, please stop talking.
Right, right.
And so I was like, the best thing about being in the US is if someone annoys me, I could just be like, urusei. And they're not gonna know.
True. That's true.
But also, so urusei is the quote unquote strong version because it's the masculine version of the word urusai. So I notice for some reason in languages that have gendered words, Japanese doesn't usually, but sometimes it does. I will use the masculine form, not intentionally, okay? I go out of my way to learn the feminine ones, and it just doesn't happen.
It just sounds
So,
cool, though.
so if I like something, instead of saying sugoi, I'm like, ah, suge! And everyone would be like, no, you're a woman, you can't say suge. But at the same time, they're also, the way you say it's really cute, so now I don't know.
I feel like, no, I guess I feel like maybe when I use Japanese privately with my sister, we would use more masculine sounds just
You did?
because we're,
Uh-huh.
yeah, just like flexing, like when trying it out, But like in person, I guess I kind of avoided it in general, I guess. But I usually just played with words more. So like, for instance, I would make jokes using Japanese words that people would understand.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, there's this one joke I told at a goodbye party,
Mm-hmm.
my first year. So at that same school that I shared with my mentor, they took us out for okonomiyaki because it was my favorite thing to eat. So they took us out there. And so we had went on this tangent a little bit talking about different Japanese foods, but I said, I like takoyaki. I said I don't like it when the taco or octopus, like they don't have a lot of taco in it. Like I said, without the taco, yakidake. And they just like all burst out laughing. Because what I basically said was without the octopus, it's just the yaki. And they were just like, funny! That was funny! I was just like,
Wait. Yaki means fried. So
It does.
takoyaki, yeah, it's a fried ball of dough with the octopus inside.
Yeah. So like they like died. They were like, wow. And I'm like, oh, that was accidental. But I said, I'm glad
That
you
is
guys
funny,
killed me
though.
on that.
Yeah.
I'm out here. But again, to reiterate the point about language, like that, I now know later that usually when you can joke in a language, that is a symbol of fluency.
It
Like I
is,
was
yes.
not fluent, but I could fool people into thinking I knew more than I did because I could joke or I could use certain phrases that are super useful.
It's ALA again at the end of the episode, letting you guys know it's over. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these little tidbits of information that we shared back and forth about our Japanese learning and just enjoying language in general. Leave your comments down in the bottom about your own struggles with learning languages and what you did or what you used to help you learn and retain the information. Catch us again on Sippin' and Trippin'.